8. There's a freak show on the dance floor. There's a freak show. Do 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 do. See that bad boy right there? I gotta return it. It's in that little box. And I gotta return it. A big old giant box. I'm returning it to Amazon. Because first of all, let me go hit this toilet just for a minute. It's kind of leaking a little bit. I don't know if you were. Oi, mate, how you done? I don't know if you were tuning in a little while ago, but I don't know how long the video ran. But I ran from Iran when the shooting began. That's my Wayne's World. So, uh, I guess it is what it is. Why we got so much light coming in on this side? The sun just moved up to where it's no longer tolerable. So I brought this thing in yesterday because I had to do something. I don't remember what. It's all my uh, traveling stuff. And so let me double check the signal because I was just making a video and it's completely gone. So the phone ran out of juice, but that phone hardly ever runs out of juice, so I don't know what the hell that bull crap was about. As soon as I started talking about something here, uh, it shut off, so I don't know if you were catching it or not, and I don't know how long it was running, but so I'm redoing it on the good camera. Okay, so let me go to my channel here. Make sure everything's on the up and up. And the battery's going dead too. It's so crazy. So were you catching all that information? I got to do the whole thing all over again. Okay? I got to do this whole damn thing all over again. And it's just going really goofy. My phones have not been charging up. It's like this is some kind of cyber attack. You know, all these things are remote control, right? They've got a thing. I've imagined this. They have something. It's like a Bluetooth scanner. They can scan all scannable electronics on whatever geographical area and freaking turn them on at the drop of a hat. You think they're stupid? They've been doing it since black and white TV. There's been people who've suspected this. And so I took apart the GPS to replace the battery. And I don't know if I'm under some kind of freaking hypnotic suggestion, but I used the tools, which I paid $8 for the tools. The tools don't even fit the Torx screws, didn't even fit them. And but I used my own little special tool, and so I tried the battery, which is a 1,500 1.5 amp battery, which is a lot of energy for this thing at 3.7 volts. And well, it only took a 0.750 uh, amp battery, and which is to say it's less than 1 amp. And so the 1.5 amp battery was too big for this unit, and when I tried putting it in there, it would like turn the display. But it was really crazy because I actually went outside to get this to get my heat dryer, the hair dryer, and to heat this up because there's supposed to be glue around it. So I've been waiting for these tools to get here to attempt to open it because I didn't want to tear it all to crap. So I tried the tools on it, and the tools lasted about 5 seconds. It's all junk, and so I was like, the hell with it. That freaking heating up the glue. I said, hell with this crap. I don't care if I just destroy it. So I went and I grabbed myself a screwdriver and just popped it right open. There ain't no glue. So I open it up. So I've never worked on these tiny circuits, right? This before surface mount or anything like this. So I open it up and I'm like, where the hell is the battery at, right? And and so I finally located the battery, and there's just all kinds of surprises in here. Then I thought I had destroyed it. I'm like looking for the circuit board, right? There's just like there's hardly nothing in here. It's all on microchip and everything's micro sized. So I'm surprised I actually got it back together. But so I'm going to return the battery because the battery doesn't fit, physically doesn't fit, but it plugs right in. See there? And it plugs right in. And check this out. I plugged the original battery back into it. How do you go back? You can see it's still got its battery juice in there. Um, I plugged the original battery back into it, and it freaking increased in capacity.
Please drive to highlighted route.
It increased in capacity. It must have been a loose connection. And I'm sitting here trying to pull the damn thing out, right? And it doesn't, they don't snap in like that no more. You just press them on the side. And then it only has like one cable connecting the whole thing, and it uses a ribbon cable. And the damn thing came apart, and I'm like, oh my goodness. I couldn't find a magnifying glass. And I'm like, how in the hell does this thing, why would they even design it like this? And miraculously, there's this little thing where you just like, it flips up or down, or I don't know. I thought the ribbon cable would go in straight, but it doesn't. It goes in flat towards the printed circuit board. And I just touched the thing, and it miraculously, I guess it hooked up because it's working. I mean, the display came out, battery is low. The display turned on. That's the display will not turn on if that ribbon cable's not plugged in. It's got probably about 40 40 connections on it. And so anyway, so I plugged the original battery back in. I used the other battery. The other battery does plug in. It's just it won't close because it's much bigger. This one, it's wide by like one inch and 1.25 inch, and that battery that I tried in it is 1.5 inch. So it won't fit. I mean, you could modify it if I still had my tools and stuff, you could modify it to make it fit, but I don't think you'd want to do that anyway. You'd probably mess up the unit. There's probably a reason why they used a smaller battery in there. So I was supposed to order the battery already, but I forgot. So I got to order the battery right away. And I mean, I could use a power bank with the thing, but it's much easier to carry it this way, right? You don't have nothing else plugged into it. By the way, where's my thing? I better put this on because it's got to go back outside. Let me put this back on it. And yeah, so you could just carry it like this, stay on for who knows how long. But yeah, okay. So we're talking today about what's going on in the world and what's the most important thing going on. Well, there's two things. There's two things going on, and this is the revelation, the rapture, Armageddon. Full disclosure of the extraterrestrials. Okay? That's what's going on. And who is the person who's telling you about the extraterrestrials? Okay? And why is this person who was telling you about the extraterrestrials actually able to tell you about the extraterrestrials now? Is it God? Is it the collective consciousness of humanity, of the human race? Not only the human race, but all intelligence that is on this planet, human and non-human. And as in the extraterrestrials, Lucifer and the fallen angels. This is the biggest story. But the biggest story is the war and the total disclosure of the extraterrestrials. But it's not. In reality, it's the other way around. The most important thing is the disclosure of the aliens and then the war. Because I suspect that this war is another fast one, like they did back in the day. I think it was the Afghanistan war, where they staged a war. They staged a whole war. Just like this war that you're seeing right now, this is exactly what they were doing before. And they found out it was a scam, but yet nobody mentions that, do they? Nobody mentions the scam war. I don't remember the exact date. Maybe I'll have to go searching for it. Maybe this is what needs to be exposed. Why are none of these mofos? Democracy Now! Right? And all your mainstream media. Even David Icke. Or this new professor who's on the scene now. This big time professor. How come they don't mention that? How come they don't mention that fake war that they staged a few decades ago? 2 or 3 decades ago. And so so David Icke came out swinging. I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know him personally. Okay? I don't know what kind of things are coming at him, what obstacles they're throwing at him. Um, but I told you, I suspect he's one himself. That's why they're shaking in their shoes. They don't want him to be in court. That's why they're shaking in their shoes. The last place they want to see him is in court. Because if they ever do bring him into court, the extraterrestrials will be exposed. Because this is everybody across the United States will hear about it. They will know who David Icke is. That's why they're shaking in their shoes. Because I think he's one himself. But they are defecting. All these whistleblowers who act like they don't know each other. They act like these people do not exist. I was telling you, it's time to get rid of this facade. We know there's no more 6 degrees of separation. The 6 degrees of separation has been obliterated. We know you're listening. We know we're all listening to each other on this new free flow of information, these live streams. Why is everyone putting on this facade that we're not listening to each other? Okay? Not acknowledging each other. What kind of trance are you under? Unless you're one of them, the extraterrestrials. It's got to be some other clique that's going on among the extraterrestrials. But these whistleblowers, namely Kevin Trudeau, is silent right now. Why isn't Kevin Trudeau, one of the biggest whistleblowers ever walked on 2 feet, not saying a word about this supposedly nuclear World War III? Do you see how dumb the people are? They can say anything they want, and the people will not do nothing. Not until they drop one on the ass. And subconsciously, I think they want it to happen. Just like it happened in Hiroshima and Nagasaki. I wasn't back there during the time, okay? I haven't studied it that much, but apparently there are some people who do. Let them talk to you. I don't hear them. I haven't heard anybody saying they lived through the Nagasaki and what happened and all this stuff. Okay? And so I told you, listen to these two people. David Icke came out swinging. His last 8 videos after being banned for 5 years. Okay? Keep in mind, he's the one telling you about the extraterrestrials. Why do you think he's banned in 30 European countries? Okay? So this is all a deflection. This whole thing could be staged by them. The Secret Intelligence Agency. This is what they do. They've done it over and over again if you study history. Okay, so there's these two people. This one person just comes out of left field. I don't know how he showed up on the scene. Okay? But he came across my live feeds. His name is Jiang. He's a professor. He's an international professor. Studied in the United States. Went back to China, started a school there, and they kicked him out. But he's back on the scene now. He's teaching in I don't know what school. I can hear the students, but I don't see any students, which is suspect. And so He knows all this stuff. And there's another person also showed up on my live feeds. This is just a regular rinky dink YouTuber, new person. From what the stuff she's saying, I don't know how long the video will be here, but maybe she's a lawyer or something. Maybe she knows something you don't. Maybe she's defecting also, just like these whistleblowers are defecting, because I suspect they are extraterrestrials themselves, but they're defecting back towards righteousness. Because keep in mind, the are extraterrestrial is synonymous with Lucifer and the fallen angels. So these whistleblowers who know all this information, David Icke, Kevin Trudeau, all of these whistleblowers have been at times banned, at times been put in prison camp for Kevin Trudeau's um, thing, almost 10 years. Okay, so how do they know all this information? That's why I suspect they are extraterrestrials themselves, but they're defecting from the extraterrestrial race back, ascending towards righteousness, which makes perfect sense, because if you can descend, you can also ascend, right? As above, so below. And so there's this other rinky dink channel who's also come on the scene. And the name of the channel is Laugh Now, Cry Later. Okay? And so um, David Icke comes out. He came out swinging. He's giving you all the names of these. I can't say the words. Okay? You can go listen to these people. They'll say the words. I can't say the words, so that I can bring you the information for you to go listen to it, okay? But I don't want to say the words. And he came out swinging, giving first and last names of the nitty gritty out of the book on these last videos he put up on YouTube. Mind you, he's walking on eggshells, okay? And he still came out swinging. He's giving you all the names of these people who he was telling you about 25 years ago, who are now being summoned into the courts, which I say is a kangaroo court. And so he came out swinging on his last 8 videos within this last month. But now this video that came out yesterday, where he's talking about the war, he didn't mention anything about it being phony. Didn't mention anything. He's talking about Donald Rumsfeld and all this other stuff, and I gave you the rundown on the last one, but I'm not going to do it this time. Uh, um, so, um, so that's kind of strange. And so, the video he made yesterday, don't even waste your time. Not unless you totally haven't researched the other videos. I would say don't even waste your time. The 8 videos before the one he put up yesterday, absolute must watch to come up to speed, to understand what I'm talking about. And so there's 2 people giving their perspectives. and I wanted to listen to what they're saying because we don't know what the hell's going on over there in Iran. And I was saying that this war is a war of, it's a holy war. And I told you what this professor said, right? This professor, in a nutshell, Jiang, his YouTube channel is called, one of his YouTube channels is called Predictive History. And in a nutshell, what he is saying, this is a college professor, international college professor. In a nutshell, what he is saying is Iran is going to kick the United States ass in this war. Okay? And um and David Icke, who's talking about the war, didn't even mention anything about it. And didn't mention anything about the fake war that they done, a few decades ago, a decade or two or three ago. He didn't mention anything about that. He was talking about Donald Rumsfeld and this and that. I'm like, this was a total waste of time. And so I don't know what all that's about, but they're all suspect of being extraterrestrials themselves, even though they are defecting back towards righteousness. And so they need to stop this facade and start acknowledging each other. You never hear them mention each other's name. David Icke, Alex Jones, Kevin Trudeau. We need to stop this facade. We're all listening to each other. The 6 degrees of separation has been obliterated. What kind of freaking trance are these people in? Is it about the money? If it's about the money, we're not going to get anywhere. And so it's time to be for real. Stop this horse shit. And so this professor, I guess he'd be a doctor, right? Dr. Jiang, even though they don't label him doctor. This professor, Jiang, whose YouTube channel, one of his YouTube channel is Predictive History. He's saying that this war is like, he didn't mention Hiroshima or Nagasaki, but David Icke did, right? But this college professor says it's like the Vietnam War. And so it's not so much tuning into what they're saying, but to what they're not saying. And so if he's talking about the Vietnam War, then why did he fail to mention Dear Watson, like on Clue? You remember the board game Clue with Professor Plum and Mrs. Scarlet? My Dear Watson. Why did this professor not mention this documentary that's available on Amazon? It's a compact disc DVD. It's a documentary of everyone who was coming against these devils who are doing this war now. The same devils that did it in Vietnam, pouring hot tar on men, women, and children. Okay? Why did he not mention this video when everybody was standing up against these devils, aka Lucifer and the fallen angels, aka the extraterrestrials? This documentary that came out in 2002, I think it is, shows what was going on during the Vietnam War in the 60s, when everybody, all of humanity was coming together. The brown people, the black people, the white people, the American Indian movement, the Black Panther Party, the Young Lords, the Latin Kings, Puerto Rico, and Cuba, and China. The people who were following Mao Zedong, and in Cuba, the people who were following Fidel Castro and Ernesto Guevara. And they put it out with mainstream media and the military. They stopped the hippies and everyone else who was with them. Okay? So why did he not mention this documentary that you can find on Amazon right now, but I don't think you'll be able to find it there for very much longer? Because just like the other two documentaries that I've been promoting, they've been pulled off the market. The Murder of Fred Hampton and Mad as Hell by Aaron Russo. They were pulled off the market on Amazon. So that's why I think this one will be next. The Weather Underground. Available right now on Amazon. And so, I think this war, what's going on, not to meddle in other people's business, but just to put my 2 cents out on there, I think that the country, they need to stand up against the people who are oppressing them under the guise of, I speak for God the Creator. I know best. Therefore, you have no freedom of speech. They need to man up, cowboy up, and stand up against their oppressors and bring freedom of speech, bring YouTube so we can see what the hell is really going on over there. Because as of right now, there are no live streams there. They don't even allow YouTube there. So the argument would be like a person in a community who doesn't want to go out into the community, wants to stay to themselves because the community is dysfunctional and doesn't want that crap to rub off on oneself. That would be the argument. But it's not the case. We're talking about freedom of speech, the free flow of information, not hiding behind closed doors like they're doing over here, keeping the public out of these depositions, telling them your ass can't come in here, and don't you dare try to bring a live stream in here or we'll throw your ass in jail in a hot New York minute. And that's just the way it is. Right? So these devils are in both countries. If this is a holy war, like we've been taught, if this is a holy war between Persia, which is Iran, and Israel, which is, I don't know what it is, then this is a holy war of good and evil. And each one doesn't want to be wrong that their Bible or their holy scriptures was a bunch of bull. and wrong. To look like an idiot. To know that your Bible was fake. Whichever one you follow. And so that's what it is. It comes back to ego. And so these countries are fighting. It's a good versus evil. And, well, they both have good and evil. Okay? Here in the United States, you damn well straight we have evil here in the United States. And so not only is there good and evil in both countries, but there's good and evil in each one of us. Okay? So maybe this is on a subconscious realm that is taking place in the physical realm. Maybe that's what this is all about. And the people subconsciously want to see the big one drop. And so they get it. Okay? And so, yeah, this is between good and evil. And so these people need to stand up against their oppressor. They need to man up and stand against their oppressor. And so does the professor, so does David Icke, and all of us. There's good and evil in all of us. Maybe that's what we're at war with. And so that's it in a nutshell. The last 8 videos David Icke put out. Also, if you want to go watch his other videos, there's thousands of videos before they silenced him. There's a 5-year gap. But after that 5-year gap, he came back out swinging, mentioning all these names. Now, yesterday, he just out of left field, But that's basically it in a nutshell. Okay? David Icke did not mention a word about my theory, how this may all be fake. He didn't even mention a word about it. But he also was completely silent on, for whatever reason, because he's usually very loud about this, about clean energy, renewable energy, and the electric vehicle, which he did not talk about at all on that video yesterday. So you have these two whistleblowers, and then you have the other whistleblower too, Kevin Trudeau, which I suspect are extraterrestrials themselves, even though they may be defecting back towards righteousness. So there it is in a nutshell. The professor teaching in college is saying, if you believe this war is real, okay, this is what he's saying about it. He's saying Iran is going to kick the United States ass in this war. Okay? And so go check it out. Okay? And if you think that's totally ludicrous and stupid, who are you? This dude is freaking educated. He's a college professor. Think about that. Okay? Thank you for leaving comments, everyone. This is my good camera, so it should focus right in. Yeah. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for the emojis. And I had to do this video twice. So the first video was way better. No surprise, it got shut down. So I had to redo it. And so just letting you know. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll talk to you on the next video live stream. Signing out from Central California, 70 miles southwest of Fresno, California.